Okay, here's a game. Let's start off with e4. Classical opening. Well, I play the Italian. Oh, it's Petrov. How boring. Let's see if I could try and get a new line here. So, what I'm trying out is this early knight maneuver. I'm hoping that he will take and damage my pawns. And that clears his knight out of the center, and it creates an unbalanced structure here where I have actually some fair amount of center influence and an open file here. So it's not so bad. Here, I just need to make sure I can castle quickly. If he puts something on the E file. The problem with the Petrov in general, and the reason why it's so boring, is that it's just an absolutely symmetric pawn structure. But now that there's a little bit of pawn damage here, I have a slight asymmetry. I have this open file that he doesn't have, and maybe I can exploit that in some way. So he's hitting this pawn. I'm going to undermine the center a bit. Let's see if he wants to take here. That's adequately defended by the knight and indirectly by the queen. If some piece lands there, there's always this bishop. Bishop takes h7 check, little trick. Oh, the other reason for putting the rook here, I guess, is getting it off this diagonal. But let's see. And black is taking his time developing his pieces, so maybe I'll come out of this with some edge. Who knows? It's tough to play against the Petrov, honestly. Tough to get an interesting game. So if black is just content with the draw, there's not a whole lot that can be done about it. So I've gotten rid of my damaged pawn. It's no longer doubled. Ah, he plays there. I was expecting him to take with the pawn, but maybe he doesn't like the idea of having isolated pawns. But this gives me a tempo. I see. His idea is if I kick the bishop, he will take, I'll take, and then he will grab the d pawn. Let's see. I could take the b pawn. I guess that's something I should consider. He can take this pawn. Okay, let's consider this sequence. Pawn to c4 cuts out this diagonal, so he can't take over here anymore. Then he takes my knight. I take with the queen. Then he takes here, and but that's not threatening anything, and I have time to take the b pawn. So he'll have a pawn and a c pawn. I will have an a pawn and a c pawn as well. Gosh, it's symmetric again. How annoying. Anyway, I didn't see anything better. So I'm going to go for that continuation. Let's see if I missed anything here. The queen will have maybe a little pressure on this diagonal. I'll have the bishop pair. That's what one thing I can say. If he goes down that line, I'm expecting that. Right? Otherwise, if he just retreats, then I'm just grabbing this pawn and I'm a pawn up, right? So he pretty much has to take the knight. Okay, well, maybe he doesn't see the idea. We'll see what he finds. Or maybe he's looking for something better. I always say look for something better. But it's kind of forcing. It seems like he has to move that bishop in some way. Yeah, there he goes. Okay, so queen takes. And now my d pawn is hanging and his b pawn is hanging. So, and I have the bishop pair. And the development is about equal. I haven't developed this bishop. He hasn't developed that knight. Maybe I'm ahead in development. I've got one rook on an open file and he doesn't. So maybe slight edge for white after that. We'll see. Yep, he goes there. So I'm going here. I don't see any way he can trap that, and I think I should grab that pawn. And maybe there's even little tactics forming up against f7 here, if I can arrange it. He can trap the rook. Okay. So if I play c5 and bishop to c4, can I get something against this guy? Okay, well, let's think about it. Well, c5 has the advantage of freeing my rook, so it's better to give up a pawn than to give up the exchange. So c5, bishop takes here. Now bishop to c4, threatening this guy because I've got 3 guys on it. Yeah, so just rook takes is a threat. And how does he defend it? Oh, he could defend with the queen maybe. Let's try it. Let's try it. I suppose he could still just attack my rook. How could he attack it? He can't attack it with the knight. He could only attack it with the queen. So that would be queen to c8. Queen to c8. Rook takes f7. Rook takes f7, bishop here. And then he brings his queen back to defend the rook. I grab the bishop. It's complicated. Or queen c1, I take the bishop. He takes the rook. Do I have anything great there? I can take another pawn. Yeah, so what to do? Taking on f7 or taking the bishop? Taking the knight even as possible, I suppose. Kind of like this idea, just because you'll get this interesting pin. And maybe there'll be ways to increase the pressure on the pinned piece. Put those bishops to good use. You can also think about bishop b2, queen c3. Made on g7. That may be an idea too, especially after I've eliminated the dark squared bishop. But probably he will have time to defend. Well, he's thinking. I got him thinking. That's a good sign. He can't take with the rook. He could ignore it. Oh yeah, he just ignores it. Okay. Then it's just a trade. So let's defend my rook. Now I am threatening to take, because that's a check. It would actually be mate. Rook takes rook is mate, because it's a double check. And the king has nowhere to move to. So let's see him find a way out of this. Actually, it's pretty tricky. I don't see a move. Yeah, rook takes here is still. Oh, it's single check now. So yeah, that's pretty clever. Let's see, bishop here on this diagonal. Then threatening mate here. Is it threatening mate? Maybe not. Let's see, so what's the material? I have the two bishops, he has a bishop and a knight. I have two rooks, he has two rooks. Yeah, okay, the material is even. I got a pawn, he got a pawn. Well, I escaped with that. I escaped better than I thought I would. So, yeah, I've got a mate threat on. On g7, I don't know how he stops that. He can't really bring his queen over because wherever he goes, I can just take the queen. And he hasn't time to, say, move his knight to defend the back rank because I can take on g7 immediately. So I think this is curtains. Well, it's a nice finish if that's if I'm right. If there's no tricks, this is a nice finish. Yeah, so that doesn't work because, or maybe it does work. Let's see. Bishop takes check. He has queen takes. Queen takes, he has bishop takes. Oh, amazing. Amazing, amazing. Is there some way to get the rook in here? So queen takes check, queen takes, bishop takes, king takes. That just loses a piece. Similarly with bishop takes, he can take with the queen. I have a check here. Let's think about this. So he can't take with the king after bishop takes, so queen takes is forced. I have a check here, but he can block with the queen again. Yeah, I keep forgetting the bishop is defending the queen there. And let's see, if I bring my rook out, let's place the rook here. Looks like that'll be a useful square for the rook. He can trade queens now. I didn't see a way to stop that. If he doesn't trade queens, then rook to the back rank should be mating. Queen takes, bishop takes, and I'm just trying to make it difficult for him to move his knight, but he's got knight. Yeah, he is having trouble moving his knight, so I was just trying to take away squares from the knight because he needs to clear the knight off the back rank, is what I was thinking. And he can't do that immediately. I'm covering that square and that square, and that square is blocked. So I can get to the back rank here with a check. He can play, oh, my bishop is no longer guarding that square. That's the problem. These illusions. Okay, so now it's tricky. I have to be careful about my back rank too. So rook here, I want to play rook to e7, d7, rook d7, threatening along this rank. He can play rook to b8, hitting my bishop. I drop my bishop back, threatening here. Let's play a few moves and see how it goes. I just have to remember to play a g3 at a critical moment here. So somehow he's not losing yet. Amazing. So he hits my bishop that way. That's interesting. So if I just move the bishop back, he can take here with check. I step out of the way. I'm threatening this pawn. He can defend it. He can't defend it. But it's like a trade of a pawn for a pawn. Okay, I'm going to unpin the f-pawn and take it from here. I'm going to play f3 next. I couldn't play f3 right away because it was pinned. And I'm sort of wondering if there's ideas like taking king here. If I had a great discovery with the bishop to win a piece, I could have gotten the knight that way, I guess. Bishop takes, king takes, bishop here check, blocks with the rook, rook takes check, king takes, and bishop takes knight, and I've got a light squared bishop against a dark squared bishop, so nothing so great. Okay, so he's going to try and harass. He's going to try and harass my rook. So he's running low on time, at least. Okay, so he's going back there. Okay, so now f3. And then bishop to c4. Threatening the pawn on g7. And he can't defend it with the knight, or the rook. So anyway, I think I was winning that game. Interesting game. I'll upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.